Welcome to Forever. I am Biodun
And I'm Tolu
Olusoya.
Olusoya.
Welcome to another episode of Forever. This episode, we are going to be talking about the marriage and the wedding. They look the same, but they are different. The wedding is the day, the marriage is the forever after. And sometimes in this generation, I don't know why you know what, there's a lot of emphasis on the paparazzi for the wedding at the expense of the marriage. And it's important for us to note that in as much as there is no big deal about it, there is nothing bad about having it if you can afford it. But it's also important that you need to learn that we should pay good attention on long term at the expense of short term. So the first thing is pay attention on the long term. You are going to spend the rest of your life together. You need to pay attention on the long term. There are so many things that you need to pay attention to on the long term, and the long term is more important than the pictures. You can take pictures today, they look the most beautiful, they look the most fantastic, but there is no long term bond to keep you guys together. It will not work. So think long term. Do everything you need to do, but think about the fact that this is supposed to be forever, and you put attention on the long term enjoyment together, which is more important.
Then again, when you're thinking about long term, make up your mind or make it a point of duty not to take decision only because of the wedding and not because of the marriage. There are so many decisions you can take because of the wedding. You are looking at the picture, you're looking at somebody that will look good on the picture. Man, the marriage is more important than
Someone
that
that will look good on the picture.
You are looking at somebody that can afford to give you that kind of a wedding you want. The long term is more important than the wedding. You must be careful you don't marry the wrong person, all in the bid to have a wonderful marriage or wedding ceremony and not think about what will happen afterwards, after the marriage. There are so many people, that so many things are going on in the relationship, but because of the kind of wedding they want to have, they actually shut their eyes to those bad parts. That's why they are talking about love is blind, but marriage will open your eyes. So you must be careful. Think long term, not the wedding day alone. The marriage is important. Have all the fun you can have on your wedding within the covers of making sure you are doing the right thing, and then think about the marriage as well.
Then the other thing is communicate. If you are doing long term, then communicate. There are so many things to talk about. We're going to talk about when we do have a conversation on communication. There are so many things to talk about, but communicate early. Talk to one another about things that are important to you for the long term. The clothes you will wear for the wedding, the dresses you will wear, they are good, but beyond, they're going to stay with one another for a long time. Communicate. Those are the things that will make more sense and make more impact to you than any other thing. So communicate is very, very, very important. Communication is key.
Make sure you get the right counsel for your marriage and not just for the wedding day. So you are not preoccupied with preparation for the wedding at the expense of having the right counsel that will take you into marriage. Make up your mind you take the right decision in getting the blessing to launch into your marriage and not just the wedding day alone. As it's said, the wedding and the marriage look similar, but they are different.
Very different.
Is one of the marriage is for a long.
One of the things I always want to say is that they need to read the right kind of books as you go for into a marriage. You need to read the right kind of books. I know the law of the wedding is to look good, everything perfect. But beyond that, you need to read the right kind of books, get the right kind of stuff into both of you, have the right kinds of conversation, a bit of the things you have read that will help you on the long run. The last one is to do things right. Do things right, do things right from the beginning. Don't try to, one of the things I see is impress people is wrong. You want to paint a picture of who you are not, what you do not have at the expense of the future. Do things right. Don't do it because of that day. No, do it more for the long term. Now, the major emphasis of what we are talking about today is doing things for the long term. Do things with the long term in mind. When you put those things in mind for that wedding, you will realize that when the wedding is over, the marriage can be sustained. You can sustain the long time. But if you just do anything the way you wanted, and after the wedding is over, the marriage comes, the marriage cannot hold it. So Do things right from the beginning. Do things right from the beginning. It's important you get things right so that the marriage can last.
There's no point entering into debt
Yeah.
before your marriage starts
Yeah.
because of the wedding day.
Yeah.
Find there are some things that are basic that you need to do, but there are some that you can do within the course of what you can accommodate.
You know, one of the things I didn't really realize that there was a few weddings I've seen on social media that both of them didn't even buy a wedding gown. They wore what they had. You know, and I'm like, if that's what they can afford to protect their marriage, it's good. But you know, you need to break the bank to make sure you have a wonderful, great day. And if you can afford it, it's good. I don't have a problem with it. If you can afford it, it is good. But may not be very important for you if the long term is more important than short term. Now, but you can afford it and both of you want it, go ahead with it. We had it. We had one of was a wonderful one. It's good, but don't break the bank. Don't use the short term to destroy the long term. That's very important.
So it's all about don't try to impress the people that don't
Yeah.
love you. They don't even care about it.
Yeah.
All in the bit that I want to look good, I want to impress people. Whereas you yourself, it's pinching you under, and you can't just get.
You know what I
around it and,
discovered? After years of your wedding, you realize nobody's looking at the album. You know, nobody's looking at the album. Everybody moves to
That's
another
true.
phase. Yeah, nobody's looking at your album. You know, I was thinking about it when you just talked about it. Like, when was the last time I checked my album? It's been a long time. You know, nobody's really looking at it. After a while, it becomes, oh, the other children. Everybody looks at that, but after that, nobody looks at that again. Life is moving. Think long term and enjoy the best. I know you've enjoyed this episode. Join us in the next one.